Welcome back to our third video. So I've been looking at some of the other videos out there, and a lot of you are picking up on, fundamentals of Magic, something that we can talk about, key points to Magic. I'd like to go over one. It's called the Rules of Mana. All right, and here I've got some examples. Now, Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast must have caught on to this and thought, yes, this is definitely a problem, and they've since fixed the issue with the cards. But in some cases, mana, each mana should equal 1 point of ability or 1 point of power or toughness. And if it doesn't, then that represents a mana card, or a card that's going to break the mana rule. All right. So, for example, Rox Pummeler. All right. The Rox Pummeler is a 6/3. If you were to balance that out, 5/4, a 4/5. Just to give you an idea, so 4/5 would cost roughly 4 to 5 mana to play. All right, so for instance, this particular card, if we were to balance it out, a 5/4 should cost about 5 to 4 mana. On the high side, let's say 5 mana. All right. And then the Rox Pummeler enters the battlefield with the shield counter on it. So the shield counter is another mana that you would be. And then as long as it has a shield counter, it's got trample. That's a great option, but the minute somebody blocks, that would kill this, it would take the shield counter off. So, the shield counter, anything that would be dealt damage to destroy. Oops, I just got rid of it. All right, let's go on to our next card. The next card I picked was Desynchronize. All right, so target non-land permanent owner puts it on top of their library and scry 2. So essentially, this is just something that's unsummoning somebody's card, and instead of putting it in their hand, they put it in their library. All right. So that is probably a 2 to 3 mana ability. Scry 2, that would be another 2. So essentially, this card should cost anywhere from 3 to 4 mana and not 5 mana. So this would be a card that you're not going to see a whole lot of people playing. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's a common card, and it costs more mana than if you were to just find spells that would waste your opponent's time, such as an unsummon. And then, that's when they would play it out again, and you would, use your cancel card if you had one. And then you would scry, a scry card would be something that you could as well find as an instant or sorcery. So this one, the Selba Trespassers. All right, so 3/5. So essentially a 4/4. And there's no other real bonuses to having that 3/5. So besides the channel, which doesn't give you abilities when the creature is down, so it basically, this is a card that you're not going to see a whole lot of play. The only reason why I wouldn't play it is because like I said, if you balance it out to a 4/4, taking that 1 toughness and giving it to the power, that'd be a 4/4. So 4/4 should cost 4 mana. If this card had flying, that would be a different story. It definitely would be something that you would consider. You could definitely play this card if you're playing an artifact, or if you're playing a road, or if you're playing a moon folk. Um, didn't realize moon folk. I thought it always said merfolk, but I didn't look at the card close enough. That's just something that we wouldn't be playing. The Sunblade. All right. So again, a 4/4. We're paying 4. Okay, and then this is a clear example of that Moonfolk that we just looked at. This one has vigilance, so it justifies paying the 5 mana. In addition, it is a samurai, so any boost that you could do with samurais when they attack alone, this one doesn't tap when attacking because of the vigilance. So this would be another card that you're not going to see a whole lot of play in, only because it's a higher mana card. For 5 mana, I'd rather play something more a little bit more deadly. And then within the 5th turn, you're not going to want to be putting down 4/4s. You're going to want to be putting down something that's going to make your creatures more devastating. So this is another creature that just I wouldn't see a whole lot of play in my decks. Let's look at another one. All right, repair and recharge. So 5 mana. You get to return an artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker from the graveyard to the battlefield. Then you create a tapped power token. All right, so power token. Let's look into that. So the mana can't be spent to cast a non-artifact spell. So specifically, that Moonfolk could be targeted with this Power Stone. You'd be able to play this Power Stone or tap this Power Stone for that colorless mana for that Moonfolk. But again, let's look at this. Target artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker from the graveyard to the battlefield. So again, graveyard play. We're going to look at real quick. Exile all graveyards. So this is what I do. I look at the ability, and then I look to see what other abilities. Okay, so here, look at recommission. Target artifact or creature card with 3 or less mana from your graveyard to the battlefield. If the creature enters the battlefield this way, put an additional +1 counter on it. That's a great card. The reason why I say that is because, for instance, the soldier game, the soldier deck that we played earlier, most of those cards were 3 mana and under. So when they kill our soldiers or our guys that we're essentially just putting out there to get numbers out, we could bring them back even stronger. That's a great option to put into that soldier deck. So that's what I'm saying is like that particular card, and then the other card that we were looking at, repair and recharge. Repair and recharge for 5 mana versus recommission for 2 mana. So we're paying an additional 3 mana to play just any card in our graveyard, as long as it is, of course, the artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker card. So this does not include creature card. Now, if it's an artifact, I believe that you could do an artifact creature, because the artifact creature would be considered an artifact and a creature. But otherwise, it really doesn't have a whole lot of purpose besides bringing out those planeswalkers. Now, if you're going to mill yourself and get those planeswalker in your graveyard, or you're going to play a planeswalker and then they're going to kill it and you're going to bring it back, that's great, but look at the cost. For 5 mana, you should be playing something a little bit heavier than bringing back something that they're just gonna go and re-kill, unless you have other plans for that. Let's look at this one. Buy or silence. So for 5, you exile a non-land permanent, and its controller creates a treasure token. So a non-land permanent. Essentially, this particular card is like where is it? Offering. Or borrowed time. There it is. Borrowed time. So borrowed time enters the battlefield at non-land permanent an opponent controls until borrowed time leaves the battlefield. So I mean, this one's 3. So I mean, as far as stall for time, oh, that's not what we were looking at. Buy or silence. Buy or silence. Okay, so for 5 mana, I'm equipping the opponent with a treasure token that can be used for mana, just to exile a non-land permanent. But this permanent goes away for good. I mean, that's one good part about it. But you could do expel, exile target tapped creature. There's all kinds of other different options. And I think that would be another one that we would not see a whole lot of play in our decks. Gale Drifter. Okay, so this Gale Drifter, for 4 mana, let's look at it again. So for 3 mana, you should be able to get a 2/3 or a 3/2. That's okay, and then it gives you flying. So in all worlds of mana, all worlds of Magic, the Gale Drifter is playable because it follows the mana rule. However, when it dies, you have to pay 5. So when you pay 5, it comes out as a 2/2 flyer. All right, so less powerful than the Gale Drifter. And then if it's put back into the graveyard, you need to exile it. So my question is how important is a 2/2 flyer for 5 mana? This is not following our mana law. This is just, it's just broken. It's not something you would want to play. Now, obviously, if you have spirits and you got bonuses and all that other stuff, that's great. But that's not something that we would do. Urza's Rebuff, again, counter a spell, tap 2 target creatures, so you get to choose 1. And now this follows the mana ability. So for 2 mana, you can counter a target creature, or you can have a counter non-creature spell, so instants and sorceries or enchantments, but you have to pick one or the other. Now for an extra mana, you can counter target spell, so this one is giving you that option. And so for 3 mana to counter a spell is great. Now it also gives you another option to tap up to 2 target creatures. So essentially you have 2 spells here that you can choose from, and with the tap 2 target creatures, I mean that's a great option. I think that I would play it, maybe, but again, I'm not necessarily saying that any of these are something that I would put in. It's just right now we are looking at what makes sense. So the last card on this video that I'm going to go over, Lithroxy, the Apex of Death. All right, so for 5 mana, we get a 5/5, which is great. However, this 5/5 has Death Touch and Lifelink. So again, Death Touch is 1 mana, Lifelink is another mana. So essentially, this card should have 7. But wait, there's more. So whenever this creature mutates, return any number of target creature cards with the total power of 10 or less to your from your graveyard to the battlefield. So when it mutates for 7, which would, again, let's rewind, 5 plus the Death Touch and Lifelink, which is what we said would be 7, right? This creature brings out another creature and attaches himself to it. So if you have a Vigilance card, or if you have First Strike, Double Strike, flying, this card mutates with those abilities. It has all the abilities of the creature under it, and they mutate into one creature. So this card is absolutely broken. It does not follow the Mana Law, but it's a good broken. So I would see a lot of play for this. I would want to play as a commander. This would be a great card. Not only does it give you 3 colors to choose from for your commander deck, but it's just super overpowered to be able to mutate and bring out dead or milled cards with the green or the black, because green and black have a little bit of mill yourself type card play. That would be something that you would definitely consider. I know there's a lot of cards out there. This was just touching it up just on some of the cards that I went through last night. I enjoy making these videos for you all. If you like this video that I've done, this content, please leave a comment, or hit the like button, subscribe. We will have more videos, or I will have more videos. I'm actually talking with a lot of people to be able to collaborate some regular Xbox gameplays. But right now I'm doing the Magic the Gathering arena. So again, the Mana Law is every mana that you spend should give you at least 1 toughness and 1 power. If you have 2 mana, you should get a 2/2. Now, if that 2/2 has flying and you're only paying 2 mana, then it's breaking the Mana Law in a good way, and you should consider that card. This is how I look at every card that I put in my decks, and it's something that maybe you should consider. Tell me in your comments, how do you make your deck? How do you decide what is a good card? Tell me some good cards that you feel are underrated. Tell me your favorite card. Put those comments in. I also learn from you guys. So anything that you tell me, I definitely take in, and I improve with my next videos. So again, this is Knock Drake. We're signing off, and you have a great day.